Welcome everybody to the market close, the normal part of every Wednesday for 2024 and probably beyond as well. It is great to be here. So thank you all for showing up. It's going to be fun. Today we got a lot of stuff to look at. We currently do have a green market. So it is currently still in the green, not by much though. I'll tell you, it's a weak green at that. And we're on that precipice of the US Spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Is it going to happen today? Almost everybody and their dog seems to think it's going to happen after the market closes, pretty much within the next 3 hours. So we're going to have to see whether that is the case, or is the SEC going to pull out another delay tactic? So we'll have to see how that is going to work. Of course, when we get to 4 o'clock, we have, of course, our good old friend here, the bell. The bell will be rung. I will not miss the time. I will try not to miss the time. In addition to that, we got our heat maps today. We have our watch list. We're going to look at the watch list. We're going to look and see what the banana bread's going on with Bitcoin right now in the market. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, let's take a peek. Let's take a quick peek at Bitcoin right now. So right now we have Bitcoin. So if you guys were on the weekend stream, so on this week, I did pull this up and I put these little resistance and support. So basically RTA, and we predicted that we would get either a breakout to the top or to the bottom. We kind of got both because it happened. This is the weekend right about here. So it did break down a little bit and then hit this. Basically, these lines in here, these are all your moving averages. And they usually offer support. So they hit that support, sent themselves back up and rebroke out, and we had a nice little trip to the upside. Now, everything was fine. We're just moving along, waiting for the spot Bitcoin ETF. And then yesterday afternoon, somebody hacked the SEC X account. I guess we don't call it Twitter. Right now it's called an X. But anyway, the former Twitter got hacked, and then they put out a tweet saying, hey, yeah, we approved it. So all of a sudden the market exploded. So Bitcoin got all the way up here to 47, almost 48,000 before it was found out that it was a hack. And pretty much it went all the way back down. It got all the way down to 44. After that, there was a big sell-off. Now, the sell-off is not so much because people found out it was a hack. It was some of these people who are waiting to take some profits. So they definitely took some profits. So that got kind of shook a little bit out of the market. Most of the day today, we spent, kind of meandering down. Meandering. Is that a word, or is it meandering? Meandering down. And we've done pretty good, except for in the last little bit as we're heading towards the market close. There's kind of, I see two things happening. One, a lot of people are thinking that the price change on Bitcoin's already been priced into the market before we actually have the release of the spot Bitcoin ETFs tomorrow. If that's the case, that might be some people saying, well, I'm not keeping Bitcoin in the market overnight because Bitcoin might, have a nice little correction. And, other people think it's going to go to the moon. So we're going to have to see. It'll be interesting to see where Bitcoin opens tomorrow, especially if we get that announcement for the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. Now, the CBOE, they have already started telling everybody, okay, these are the ETFs we'll be selling tomorrow. That's what I mean. Everybody and their dog thinks this is going to happen. So it kind of is. Did you guys see that little red there creeping down? This is a live chart. It moves real time. So that's kind of cool. Let's move over. Actually, before we go to the heat map, I'm going to come up big again, and we're just going to say hi to everybody in chat, and then we'll move over to our heat maps for the day. Vic is in the house saying, yep, by market close, CSU ought to be at $10,000 per share. Well, you know what, Vic? Remind me that you said that. We'll look and see if that is the case. Ian says, how's the not smoking going, Vic? Yeah, we all want to know. How are you doing with that, Vic? Good old Skiz is in the house. Poor Skiz. I still feel bad. He never won a membership. Like, we probably, in December, through that contest, I believe we probably gave away something like 60 memberships. and he didn't get a single one. I don't know what's going on. Brian's in the house saying, good day. We got Stan in the house with a hello all. Marion's in the house saying, afternoon, everyone. I'm here and listening. We have Paul in the we got Paul in the house, and here's Vic's answer. He is still smoke-free and CSU-free, so Constellation Software. Paul says alts are moving up. Yes, we're going to look at the heat map for Bitcoin and the crypto as well. Vic says, man, they are. I'll tell you, Ethereum had a good reaction yesterday, and I think Ethereum's doing pretty well today too, but we'll take a look at that here momentarily. Vic says, I thought CSU was money back at 1,500, then 2,400, and now at 3,500. Yeah, sometimes these prices just start climbing up on some of these bigger stocks. Vic says, I bought some TD. Every dang day, CSU goes up $50 day after day. Sheesh. Mary's in the house saying hello. Now, keep in mind, Vic, if you're using Wealth Simple, you can buy a fractional share. That's going to go up the same. Well, it won't go up $50, but it'll go up whatever fraction you have. So just a thought. Mario's in the house with a quick hello, everybody. And Vic says, Candace, have you checked out TIKR? I looked at it. I haven't gone deep into it. I haven't played with its playlist functionality yet, but I did look at it. So I will say that. I haven't dug deep into it yet, though, Vic. Ian says, got bored waiting for my food at the restaurant today, bought 50 shares of WCP. Okay. I guess when food's late on Ian's table, it gets expensive. Paul says, sold TOI.V and GSY to buy one CSU. Now, TOI, guys, that stock, it's kind of like having CSU. They basically spun off from CSU, and they're following the exact same model. They're pretty much doing everything CSU does. They have access to CSU's playbooks. They're probably going to follow in that same direction. So someone like yourself, Vic, who's like, I can't afford CSU. You can avoid TOI. You can afford TOI. So just a thought, just something to put in there. In fact, the video that comes out on Friday, TOI is in the list because we do have another list video coming out. And now you know TOI is one of the 5 that came up this time around. Skiz says, only way I could afford CSU is to use Wealth Simple fractional buy for the win. Yeah, absolutely. It works. Nothing wrong with that. Sammer says, bought some DLR for NG in a couple of days. Okay, awesome. And good to see you in the house here, Sammer. What time do we got? We got 7 minutes. Let's boop-a-doo. We're going to bring back. We'll start with the heat map for Canada. So the TSX, and holy banana bread. Look at all the red. We got a good amount of red. We got a good amount of green too. But the banks seem to have been hit pretty hard today. TD's almost down 1%. BMO's down 1.55%. That's quite a bit. Just give me a second. I'm just going to drag this in front of me so I can still look at the camera while I'm looking at this. Fairfax Financial down negative 2.7. So that's a good way. Shopify is up. CSU, that's the one we've been talking about. And let's see where we're at here. So look at this. So we're not going to hit 10,000 by market close, Vic, but we are at 34.78. So that's not too shabby. All right. Let's pull this back here. Yeah, look, some of the Enbridge is doing okay. And I had to actually pull this one up to see it's WSP Global, just because it was kind of small. So yeah, the market's not too bad in Canada. We got some energies down a little bit. Look, Imperial Oil down, C&Q down. Let's look at America. Let's see what's going on in the US. Tech seems to have had a good day. Look at this. Microsoft up 1.89%. Meta's up 3.75%. Nvidia's up. Apple's up a tiny bit. Amazon is up. So not a bad day in the US. All right, everybody's waiting for this. Everybody was kind of curious about crypto. Let's take a look here. So currently, right now, Bitcoin is down by 1.13%. But look at Ethereum. Ethereum is just absolutely kicking it. They're up 5.24%. Solana is down they're down 4.59%. I mean, Wow, we got some winners, we got some losers, that's for sure. But this is all going to look very interesting tomorrow if we get that spot Bitcoin ETF, as everybody is thinking. Peeking back in on Bitcoin, it's still just meandering in the middle there. What can we do? What can we do? Hopefully it pops its way back up a little bit. We'll see. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very interesting tomorrow. All right, let's bring this back up here. All right. Let's see. Oh, and Vic wrote a novel. When bored, don't know, eat, snack, smoke, or randomly buy some stocks. I think phone apps make it too easy. Back in the day, had to call a broker and pay $50 per trade. Yeah, holy banana bread. That's a lot. We've come a long way from that. Now that you can do trades commission free on a lot of different brokers, most of the banks know, other than National Bank, but you've got everything from Wealthsimple to some of these other ones, like, is it Mogo? And we got Webull coming, and I think they're commission free as well. Not 100% sure on the Webull though. Sammer said hello first. Yes, absolutely. TD dropped for the ex-dividend date. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime an ex-dividend date rolls around, expect that stock to drop at the opening, basically because the amount that they're paying out in dividends is declared, so it comes off of their market cap. So it's just basic math. Sammer says ETH is insanely going up today. Yeah, ETH is just going crazy. Gotta love that. You really, really do. Ian says, I do treat stocks like an addiction. Well, at least it's an addiction that can make you money. There's a lot of things much worse to be addicted to than stocks, for sure. Vic says, I'm not wrong, just early. CSU will be 10,000 today or someday in the future. Maybe, absolutely. Give anything long enough and we'll eventually get there. Change to spare says, but CSU, TOI, and LMN this week. Look at that. Got some nice looking stocks there, change to spare. Vic says, Ian, got to check into rehab. It could be worse. My uncle was hooked on phonics. Oh, dear. Oh, it's a time that you kind of like dated yourself with that joke a little bit, but nonetheless, it's still funny. Paul says, I like the black hole on the lower right side of the crypto heat map. Is there? Yeah, well, it's funny. Here, let me show you something. I'm going to bring this back up. We got 2 minutes. Let's go to the crypto heat map, and we'll go to that black hole. Now I can actually zoom into the black hole, so we can keep going in and see some of these like crazy coins, like reserve rights. There's a coin called Big Time, Everscale, IOST, Vulcan Forged PYR. There we go. We got some really interesting stuff in there. All right, let's take a look. Oh, we got a minute and a half to the bell. Bleak is in the house with a quick hey. After the bell, we will pull up the map. Not the map. We already did the map. We'll pull up the watch list and we'll take a look and see how our stuff is doing over there. So that's going to be kind of fun. Yeah, and plus we're going to pay attention as well to see if we do get any more word on that Bitcoin ETF. So as of right now, everybody's thinking within about 3 hours. So we have to see. And of course, you get some people coming out like JP Morgan has an infamous guy there by the name of, I'm paying attention. I got 30 seconds there, Vic. Jamie Dimon, who basically said Bitcoin is worthless, no value. And, there's a lot of people that believe that. Absolutely. But I think once we have these ETFs, it does provide a little bit of legitimacy. We got 20 seconds left. I've got the bell. I'm ready. So I am ready. Chad saying one got approved. Well, I haven't heard it yet, but I hope you're right. If that's the case, Chad, it's just a matter of time. We'll get the others. And there's a lot of talk as well. Oh, it is time. The market is now closed. There we go. Yay. And Skiz says, I believe Jamie Demon all useless. Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of personalities that are, I don't know what we would call it. They're just kind of crazy. Let's take a quick gander and see where the market closed at, though. We'll bring it back up. We'll bring this over. Look at this. Bitcoin is rebounding. Bitcoin is still climbing right now. So it's up to 46,170. We did officially finish in a green day. So the S&P 500 was up about 0.5%. The TSX was up about 10%, about a tenth of, or sorry, roughly 0.1% if we round that up. Gold finished down. Oil finished down. Bitcoin still technically finished down, but we'll have to see what is happening. And here's the news. Let's pull this up. So breaking news, the SEC approves a spot Bitcoin ETF. Here we go. So in a historic move, the US Securities and Exchange Commission has approved the first spot coin ETF, marking a significant milestone for cryptocurrency in the financial markets. The groundbreaking decision has sent ripples through the crypto market, with the Bitcoin going through volatility and altcoins following suit. Now, let's see, which one is it, though? It's not telling us which one. So the SEC's approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF represents a major shift in the regulatory landscape, signaling a growing acceptance of digital currencies within traditional financial systems. Holy banana bread. It's not, you know what? Great story. Love to hear it, but it did not tell us who. Who got it? I'm just going to pull this other one up. And, well, apparently now anybody trying to access the information on the SEC website is getting a 404 error. It's Grayscale. It's Grayscale got it. So yeah, here's a quote. I am happy to confirm that the Grayscale team has received necessary regulatory approvals to uplist GBTC to the NYSE ARCA, and will share a press release with additional information shortly. So Grayscale has done it. Grayscale has a Bitcoin ETF. Holy banana bread. It has happened. And we'll pay it. We'll see if there's any movement on Bitcoin. As the stream progresses, we'll peek in every so often and see what is going on. But it has happened. It has happened. Now, Vic says, out of respect for Charlie Munger, no Bitcoin for me. I'll just get Ethereum. Okay, there you go. Chad says, wow, CSU on a tear, but price to earnings of 103 today was 100 on Monday. Yeah. It's like you can't stop CSU. And also TOI. TOI has a price to earnings ratio up around 60, I believe. Chad says it's just too expensive. But once again, if you're using Wealthsimple, you can get that on the fractional. It's time for a coffee sip. Not brought to you by Starbucks, but if they want to sponsor me, feel free to. Let's see. Roses are red. Why do I have a feel this is going to lead to a bad place? Violets, red, blue. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that, Vic. Paul says CAD up 0.5%. CAD up 0.53% and USD up 0.85% today for the portfolio. Not too bad. Not too shabby. No CSU for you. And Sammer says Bitcoin volatility will reduce drastically in 3 to 5 years. Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, we have the spot coin, the new US spot coin. Holy cow. Like if I just learned how to walk and talk today. No, I guess walk or talk. Holy cow. Now that we have the spot US Bitcoin ETF, we've now got a halving coming. And that's going to happen in April. I know somebody asked me the other day, well, what day in April is that going to happen? And well, nobody knows the exact date. It has to do with how many blocks are processed. And when we hit that specific block number that triggers the halving, and that is, that's going to happen in April sometime. So we don't have an exact date, but April is when it will more than likely occur. And Steve Wilson is saying, to the moon, Alice, to the moon. So yeah, Bitcoin is off on its way to the moon. Although right now the price hasn't really shown anything, but if it has been priced in, Bitcoin may be kind of, might be flat through the night. And then maybe tomorrow, once these Bitcoin ETFs go live and people start buying, that's when you might see a little bit of movement. So it's kind of one of these interesting things we'll have to watch. I think I was I was watching a video from Meet Kevin, and he was explaining as well, just simply about how these, how this ETF has already really been priced in by the market. So we'll really have to see, but the demand is going to come up, because one of the first things that's going to happen, and this will probably happen overnight, is a lot of the ETFs, so the CBOE, for example, will have to, go in and start buying some of the Bitcoin just to get themselves all set up and pumping a bit of money in to get ready for, the ETF. And let's see. Vic says, Kathy Wood just said CSU will go to. I don't believe Kathy Wood actually said that, but that is funny. So what is that? 2.598 million per share in 3 months. Wouldn't that be something? Holy banana bread. But I doubt it. Yeah, Chad said it's between mid-April, March. Yeah, it really depends. It really, really depends, right? But the halving is coming. And Paul says CSU, I paid $737 too much. And Ian says, Blossom says I'm down 0.28%. Not that bad. Yeah, exactly. Gotta love Blossom. By the way, since you brought up Blossom, any of you who have not heard of Blossom, who have not been over to Blossom to follow me, get your butts over there. Just click on the link down below here, and you can go over, sign up on Blossom, download the app on your phone or your tablet. Or you can actually download it. If you got a Mac, you can download apps on your Mac as well. But yeah, you follow me, follow other financial YouTubers, follow other Canadian investors just like yourself. Or, we do have the Americans starting to pepper their way in there as well. Definitely a great, great app. A lot of fun over there. All right. Whoops. Paul says, my alts have changed direction to up on the chart just in the last 5 minutes or so. Yeah, I can believe it. I see Bitcoin right now sitting at 46.2. So it's slowly climbing. And Chad says, yes, this is true. Grayscale already owns 2 million Bitcoin already. USA holds more than Michael Saylor. Keep in mind, excuse me here. Keep in mind that this is just the first one they've announced. From the sounds of what I've heard from the CBOE, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of them announced today. So I think this is just the first of a few. Including, I know how much Vic loves Kathy Wood. Hers, ARK, I think it's like ARKB or something. I think that one's also going to release as well. Vic wants to know what's passive. Passive is a website that you can go to. You can link your portfolio to it, and it will help you manage your dividends. That's basically that's where the passive comes from. It's from passive income. And it will basically let you know what you have, and you can even hook it up so it can do buys for you as well. I've never gone that deep into passive, but it is a good website. I do like it. I do like it a lot, and I need to play with it more. All right. Chad says, Paul, sell your alt, buy Bitcoin. And Ian says, how do I find you on Blossom? On Blossom, I think. Let me tell you. Let me check my username. I think it's just Mountain Finance, but there we go. I just pulled up Blossom here. I'm going to go to my portfolio. Yeah. So just if you just do a search on Mountain Finance, you will find me. Throw me a follow, and I will follow you right back. Because I know there's a lot of people. It's kind of funny. I'm one of these. There's a lot of finance YouTubers on there that some of them won't, some of them don't follow back. And I'm just not like that. It's like, you know what? If you guys are going to follow me, I'm following you back because I want to see what you guys are posting. And, drop my comments on stuff too. That's just the way I roll. So, Let's see here. Vic said all the spot ETFs are going to zero commission for a few months. Yes, that is something that they put in. I know Grayscale did it, and I know that ARK has done it. So no commission. So basically, management fee zero for the first few months, just as people get in there. Vic saying due to competition. Coinbase should drop a bit. Well, it's hard to say what's going to happen. I mean, Coinbase has been looking forward to this too. I mean, I think overall, this is not a bad thing for Coinbase. So I think they will do absolutely fine. Chad says, was funny with the SEC and X with fake news. Bitcoin jumped, then dumped, saying account got hacked. SEC already manipulating Bitcoin markets. I doubt the SEC, I doubt they really would have done that to themselves. I did hear that the FBI is involved in trying to find out who did it. So Sammer says passive is for free for who has Quest Trade. Oh, there you go. That's not a bad thing. I know I actually got the pro version of passive for a year for free. Actually, I think it was Brandon Beavis offered it. He was doing a live stream and he offered it for the people who were on. And I was just like, yeah, sure. Give me the link. I went over and grabbed it. Ian says, I found you. You are up 0.23%. Congratulations. Oh, perfect. I didn't know what I'm up. I'm up this or I'm up that. I never know. So that is awesome. And I'll follow you right back after the stream. Of course, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and start, scrolling through Blossom to find it. Well, actually I can. I mean, I've got Blossom right here. Let me just check and see if there's a notification there yet. Not seeing it yet, but once I get the notification for it, Mr. followed me. I don't know who Mr. is there. I followed Mr. back, but unless maybe that's you, Ian. Is your username Mr.? If it is, I just followed you back. So let's see. Chad says not all there won at 1.5%. Okay. Yeah, I only heard about Grayscale and ARK, so I'm not sure about any of the others. Vic says I lost a lot on NFT hype. Oh, yikes. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Think Grayscale. And Chad says, get in, get out, Vic, make your money. Sold my NFT for profits. Not bad. Not bad. Ian says, I'm Sask Ian. Oh, okay. So Saskatchewan, Ian. Normally it's Chad who brings up Saskatchewan, but hey, you have now saved Chad from having to type out Saskatchewan in one of his comments. So good on you, Ian. I love that. Vic says, Chad, in trades like life, there are winners plus losers. I've never been a winner. Well, it's actually true. Most times you make a trade, when you buy something at a really good deal, somebody is selling it at not a good deal for them. So there's always that other side of the equation for sure. Chad says, ha, 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 ha. Which is okay. Saskatchewan. All right. Skask _Ian is my Blossom name. All right. I will find you. Don't worry, Ian. I will find you. I will follow you. It is my mission. It is my mission for after the stream. All right. I need to start. Let's gonna get up a list here, and I need to. All right. Just give me a second here. I'm going to stop my screen and I'm going to pull up a new screen. I just have to do, you know what? I just need to do this all on that one monitor. Then I don't have to fiddle around like this. So I'm going to do that right now. Entire screen, this one, share. There we go. So there we go. Got the watch list on. You notice it's now in front of it. You'll see here Bitcoin has started to go to the green a little bit. Oh, okay. I said that, and then it went right to the red as I'm saying it. I'm like, really? Come on, Bitcoin. All right. So here is our watch list. So right now, EQB. So EQ Bank is leading the watch list. It is up there at the top, followed by TVK, which is a company I pointed out in the last, because I added the 5 from the last list video. Because I said those would make great watch lists. So I said, oh, I'll just add them. You guys won't mind. Then Brookfield Corporation and BAM all doing well. Jameson Wellness. Costco, Waste Connect. Look at this. Is there any? Okay, when we get down, okay, I'm just going to go down to the bottom and see what we have that's not doing so well. Okay, HMM.A is down a little bit today. Ryocan's down. HPS, so the other Hammond Power is down. Fairfax Financial, we saw that. Mullen Automotive, ADF. So yeah, we got a few down, but we got a lot in the green right now, which is kind of cool. Just another little interesting thing here. I'll show you guys just because you're here. Why not? Boop-a-doo-doo. I just need the right window and I'll drag it over there for you. All right, this here is just, and just give me 1 second here. There we go. All right, so this is just a screen here that shows what's going on in the 0 to 100. So I just sort of keep this track of this. And, everything's doing really good here. Like, look at this. BAM is up at 15.84% in that portfolio. CNR up 11%. Open text 11%. Well, 11.63. This Alvo Petro Energy, though, it's still way, way down. You guys, they may become a stinker. They may be somebody I have to rebalance eventually, but well, we'll give them time. We'll see what happens. That's the beautiful thing about the stock market is if you don't like what you're seeing, wait a little bit and it will usually change, which is kind of a good thing. All right, so this is our watch list. You guys got anything else you want to throw on that watch list? Throw it in chat if you do. I will add it. So that is, yeah, that's our watch list. Okay, and let's see here. Where the banana bread are we at here? All right, there we go. Ian saying no rush to follow him on Blossom. There's a rush. I'll do it today. Chad says have to stay glued to your PC or phone to watch highs and lows. And Vic likes the Winnipeg Jets. Apparently, they're the best in the NHL right now. I'm not sure, but yeah, maybe. I know Ottawa's not doing very well. Paul says, my crypto is to pay for dog vet builts for 13-year-old and 15-year-old and new stove and fridge. It needs to go up a bit more. Costco has not charged my card yet, so can wait a bit. There we go. There we go. And Chad says, and was at Saskatchewan, poke. Absolutely. Skiz is saying, sounds like a Terminator. I will find you. It's my mission. Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't worry, Ian, I'll be back. Chad says, Mullen will always be down and not recover. Yeah, that's probably true. Well, that's nice. At least that way there we know where the bottom is going to be on the watch list for sure. Might as well take it off the list. Maybe if we get to, I don't know if there's a maximum or not with that. If there's a maximum, maybe. Vic says instead of index, I also buy CDR stocks. Those are big blue chips. Yeah, so those are the repository receipts. So, that's a good way to get into the US and not have to worry about any of the other stuff, like exchange rates, charges to convert cash from Canada to US. So yeah, they're good. They just don't have high volume normally. Chad says PK on a tier, fast gas Parkland fuels. Okay. PKI. I know I was looking at them earlier today, actually. That's kind of funny. Vic says I have a CDR index. Oh, no, that's interesting. That's probably, most CDRs tend to be blue chip American companies. So a CDR index is probably not a bad index. Add CELH. All right, let's do that. Pull it up here. CEL, and what was it? H. All right, here we go. So Celsius. And they are now added to the list. So we got that in here. Vic says buy oil stocks. The minute Mid-East get more heated, the will take off and we will have parity of CAD USD. I'm gonna pull over the coffee again. We'll get rid of the screen for now, but we can always pull, well, actually, before we get rid of the screen, Let's minimize the watch list. Oh, look at this Bitcoin. It's not doing so well. It's coming down a little bit here. But now it is coming into the this is resistance because once again, um, these are the moving averages. So that'll probably push it back up. We'll have to see how this all looks in the morning. I think once we start getting more, if these ETFs sell really, really well tomorrow, we could definitely see a pump in Bitcoin. So that will be kind of fun. All right. Oh, yeah, I was going to get rid of this. Bringing it back up. Have another sip of coffee here. And Paul says CDR is good for non-dividends. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not bad for dividends too. Like when you buy a CDR, you still get the dividends for the company. Obviously they're scaled down. Like, if one share of Apple, for example, gives you, I have no clue what one share of Apple gives you in a dividend, but let's say it was $1. You're not going to, and you have the CDR of Apple. Of course, you're not getting the dollar. You're going to get whatever fraction, because CDRs, in a way, if you think about it, they're kind of like a fractional share. All right. Ian says, I have one follower on Blossom and it is you. Oh, me? I'm following you. Okay. How the heck did I do that? I don't know. But that's fine. Okay, cool. Chad says, buy the dip now. Yeah. It's not a bad thing to do. Vic says, any Baileys in that there coffee? No, I don't drink. The last time I actually had any alcohol was on the 1,000 sub celebration stream, that live stream we did. And it didn't take long for me to get pretty much 3 sheets to the wind fast because, well, I'm not a drinker. So that did it. Yeah, exactly. Chad says, Kansas don't drink. We'll get over here. Sammer says, Bitcoin, buy on the rumor and sell on the news. Not to be surprised if Bitcoin drops 30%. Now, some people have said that. And that's always a possibility. But here's the thing. Anything that you're putting into Bitcoin now, I think at the end of the year, you're going to be very happy with it. So this is not the time to be selling Bitcoin. It's the time to be, if anything, dollar cost averaging in and getting ready for, and even you take the halvening, like when the halvening happens, like it's not going to be like you'll have the halvening and they'll say, okay, yeah, the halvening happened, and then Bitcoin's just going to explode. There's usually a little bit of a delay. Like it can be months before you really start seeing the price starting to pull up after that halvening. So, can we hit 100,000 this year? It's darn well possible. Now that we have a US Spot Bitcoin ETF and with the halvening coming, I would definitely say it's possible. When you asked me that a year ago, and I'd be like, no way in heck that it would happen. But we're getting there. Paul says, buy Starbucks. Candace has the mug. Yeah, and tell them Candace sent you when you buy it. And then, that probably wouldn't work. Then I will buy more. Vic says, Yahoo study shows no alcohol use is associated with dementia. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. That sounds to me like some funny science. Chad says, Sammer, you're so wrong, bro. 100 to 150K end of year. So Chad is pro. Chad made predictions that Bitcoin's going to the moon. So it's funny. It's actually when I was making the thumbnail for today's video for live stream, I was trying to get an image with 3 moons on it, so like a small moon, a larger moon, and then a bigger moon. And then on the bigger moon, I wanted to have a Bitcoin symbol in one of the craters. But no matter how hard I tried to explain to AI the image that was in my head, it was giving me some funky stuff that just did not get where I was going. So I, ended up changing the concept, but that was the initial concept. Whoops. Well, let's get back here. Vic says, my cousin twice removed became alcoholic after gastric bypass surgery. Yikes. Paul says, what are in the plastic containers behind you? Lego, color sorted. And so each container has a different color of Lego, but that's all Lego. Chad said 150K was rich dad, poor dad's prediction. Okay, well. You know, and it's funny. Some people really love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really don't love them, don't hate them, but you know, that's kind of cool. Vic says drugs. There's no drugs in those. You can actually, I mean, you should be able to see, like, you can see the color, like, you know, the one in the middle, in the smaller pile, you can see the yellow and then red and then green. Now the ones on the side that you can almost just see the beginning of, those are actually like double size containers because they have the ones colors that you have a lot of, like black, gray, white, and I think blue. I think blue is over there as well. So it just makes it easier. If you're building something, right, then you can find you know, you want a piece that's a certain color, you just go to the color one that it is. But when you're breaking it apart, obviously, then you have to break it apart and then put them in the right thing. So you can't just sort of throw it all together, but that's fine. Let's see. Here we go. Sammer says, I'm always buying more Bitcoin. Chad says, nice, Sammer. Most don't understand blockchain and or Bitcoin. And Sammer has had Bitcoin since 2017. Skiz says, I think you'd be crazy not to drink in today's market. Holy banana bread. Ian says, if I had bought Lego instead of booze in my 20s, I could build a house. Yeah, there we go. Jonathan Montgomery's in the house. Oh my God, Skiz isn't a member yet. I know. I'm just like, what the heck? And even on Sunday, because now that we're out of the contest, on Sundays, you know, the first Sunday of every month is a membership giveaway, and he didn't even win then. I was like, oh my God, what's it going to take? Paul says, I thought it was Lego. Yeah, it was Lego. Just one of those things. I love Lego. Lego's just fun. I mean, I never have the time to build anything, but when I do get into a Lego mood, it's there ready to go. Well, other than sets, like, you know, like if you guys remember where Spider-Man is, there was a Lego Christmas tree there for the holidays. So, and Chad says, haha, Ian, part of getting older is wisdom. And then what time? I do not know. I'm not sure what time you're looking for there, Stan. You'll have to clarify that for me. Chad says, always need one black sheep. Skiz is that sheep. It could be. It could be. Skiz just has like an anti-wind force field around him. It's just crazy. Jordan's in the house with big aloe. Candace, hey, Jordan, good to see you. And Skiz says, let's not mention my membership status. I have a pending lawsuit with YouTube. Oh, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Chad's going, ha, 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 Skiz. Oh, yeah. And, you know, after the market's closed, Bitcoin's still hanging out in the red there. Now it's down to 45,773. So we have to see how that's going to go. Another coffee break here. Oh, that's good coffee. Now, Paul says, let's see, Tim Cast, Senk Uyghur rejected from presidential primary, sues to overturn birth requirement for presidency. Okay, I don't know, where was that at? I'm not sure where that is. I don't even know what the name where it's from. Okay, we'll just leave that be. I almost think you put that up, Paul, just because you wanted to see how well I could pronounce some of those names. Change to Spare says, Skiz currently is the only one in chat with a membership. He's cornered now. Lay it on him. Yeah, it's like one of these things is not like the other. That's funny. Jordan, he says, here comes a gifty. Let's see if I can get Skiz. Oh, here we go, Skiz. I have to pull up my thing here and take a look. All right, let's see here. All right. There we go. France Lazard. France Lazard was gifted a membership by Jordan. So thank you so much, Jordan. That is so awesome and generous. So yeah, France Lazard is not, it's not Skiz. Oh gosh, Skiz says Papa needs a new pair and drat. Yep, absolutely. It's like, if you ever remember that old cartoon Inspector Gadget, It's like Skiz is sitting there going, YouTube, I will get you next time, with a cat on his lap. So that's just what I kind of pictured in my head. Change the Spare says, haha. And yeah, congratulations to France. I don't think, I'm not sure if France has ever spoken up in chat. I know I've seen France's name before though. Skip says, congrats, France. Paul says, I got an email. Oh, from Timcast YouTube channel. Oh, okay. Interesting. Ian's bringing the conversation back to stocks. So on the topic of stocks, when you shoe stocks on your channel, you have crazy 3-year returns. I worry they are going to run out of steam. Like I missed it. Too late. Your thoughts? I look at it this way. Sometimes some of the 3 years are just absolutely crazy because a lot of the stocks that we're looking at are stocks that are in serious growth. And that's kind of one of the things that happens with total return stocks. They're growing. That's why you get these higher returns. So because they're growing, you do tend to see bigger 3-year returns on them. But here's the thing, and this is kind of one of the things, like I know when I first started the channel, I wasn't as concerned about some of the background fundamentals on some of these stocks. Like I would say, okay, you guys want a list of really high dividends. Here's some really high dividends. I would give you the list. But some of them I would never give today because, as I kind of pulled together my style and moved a lot more towards total return investing, I look at it this way, that I try to give stocks that have really good fundamentals. Like I try to weed out a lot because sometimes somebody will ask me, well, oh my God, this stock did better than that stock on your list. Why aren't they there? And it's because, well, they didn't meet the requirements. So their fundamentals weren't good enough to get on the list. Because I try to find stocks that, maybe that stock is going to go to the moon. But if it doesn't, at least it should hopefully put you in low Earth orbit. So that's kind of the way I look at these stocks. So when I pull it up, that's the way I do it. And I will tell you, when I first started doing this, a lot of times I looked at some of these stocks. Like a year ago, I'll give you a good example, HPS.A. A year ago, I looked at that and I said, you know what? They've been exploding for years now. They've run out of steam, and so I didn't push. I mean, I pushed it, but I didn't push it as much as I probably should have because they had a fantastic year. Like they exploded big time over the last year. So sometimes, you got to look at it this way. Hedge your bet by having good fundamentals in the background, because if you've got good fundamentals and you're not in crazy debt, you've got a good ROE, then, you're probably not going to get burned by the stock. So that's kind of what I've been aiming for. Especially I think in the last year, I've been really, really sort of fine-tuning some of the background fundamentals on these stocks. So I don't want to, I don't want to give you a stock that, and that's one of the reasons, like even the last covered call thing I did covered calls, but I threw an ROE condition on it, which kind of eliminated a bunch of the other ones. Now, there is a channel membership stream coming out next Thursday night. And it looks to me like so far everybody who's voted, most of the 66% of the vote has been towards income producing ETFs. So that they're going to be a little bit of an exception because we're talking retirement. So I'm not going to go too deep into that right now, but I think those are going to be really, really, really cool. Skiz says, did I just get compared to Dr. Claw? Yes. Yes, you did. But in a fun way. Chad says, thoughts of H Bank. So HBNK. Once again, we're talking covered call. We are talking the banks. So, right now there's going to be some erosion of capital on that one. There's no way around it. But once the banks do recover, you are going to see some of that erosion come back. And that's one of the things, like sometimes people complain, like especially with covered call ETFs, and say, okay, well, this one has a whole bunch of erosion of the capital. But yes, that's because the market's falling too. And once the market is doing better, yes, a lot of that capital will come back. So you take something like HYLD, when the underlying ETFs start doing better, And then when the companies within those underlying ETFs start going better, some of that starts to come back. Now, where you run into some interesting situations, though, is if you look at synthetic covered calls. So we're talking the yield max ones. Well, in those cases, they don't actually own any of the stock. So when the stock recovers, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will recover. In a sense, a synthetic cover call will almost depend on new people coming in and more money coming into that cover call to help boost the asset price on it. So we'll have to take a look, and we'll have to see once those start popping up in Canada. And I was actually surprised. I thought they would, because they've been so popular in the States. And Canada seems to, well, Canada loves ETFs. So that's kind of surprised. Let's see. Skid says, comparing a 1-year return to a 3-year return, can tell you if it's still growing or running out of steam? Yeah, to a certain extent, absolutely. Looking at what it did the year before, looking at what it did over the 3-year, and sometimes if you're looking at it and it's a little bit, and you can't really make up your mind, sometimes you might want to even zoom out and take a quick look at the 10-year and just see the overall trend of the company. But at the same time, you have to sort of look at the other fundamentals, right? So you can have a company that, let's say, they did horrible over the last 3 years with the pandemic and then with the bear market, and it pulled them down. But they're now in a position where the fundamentals are strong and we're heading towards a bull market, and they may rebound and they may bounce back really well. But that's why the more you dig into the fundamentals, the more you start looking at statistics, the better your chances are that you're going to pick some stocks that, whether they'll either be winners or they'll at least not cost you a whole bunch of money, because that's kind of the whole general idea. So like for the whole hunting for the next Hammond, maybe I'll hit Hammond, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just find a bunch of good companies. Maybe I may not hit the new Hammond, but I may hit a bunch of good companies on the way, looking for it because of the way I approach it with the fundamentals. All right. Vic says, requirements. Just tell me 5 stocks that will 100x. There we go. What's the time frame on that, though, Vic? Because as you said, stocks keep going up eventually. And it's funny. I heard, actually, on Blossom yesterday, somebody shared this analogy that I thought was funny. They're saying that investing in the stock market is like walking a dog. You know where your destination is, but as you're trying to get there, the dog goes off this way, that way, every way. Sometimes it'll sit and stay still for a while, but you do eventually get to that destination. I was like, oh, that's kind of a good little analogy. Change to spare. 100x depends on the runway time. Exactly, it depends on the timeline. What stock will 100x in 2024? Probably none. Unless you happen to find a penny stock that absolutely explodes. But that is absolute gambling, and the chances of you hitting that one penny stock are slim. Ian says, I want to buy more Canadian back stocks. Oh, bank stocks, but I'm already overexposed. Oh, well, you see, that's the thing, right? And some people, I look at it this way. Here's the reality is, if you're looking at long-term investing and you're thinking, okay, well, I don't want to get overexposed in the banking sector, but I love banks. You could probably get a little bit overexposed. It's not going to like destroy you as long as they're the blue chip. Like if you're talking top, big 6, you're fine. They are going to recover. But you may have to, when the banking sector is hurt, sort of like last year, you may just have to get used to seeing a negative portfolio. So it comes down to time, right? Whereas if you're, with a really good diversified portfolio, if one sector's down and the other sectors are up, your portfolio can at least still be in the green, and and that feels a lot better than seeing it all off in the red. Paul says, income or more, preserving your cash, bond, gold, ETF side, just in case equities crash. Yeah, and that's part of diversification, includes everything from fixed income. And it's funny, fixed income used to be a really big thing when it comes to investing, but now people kind of ignore fixed income quite a bit. But there are ways you can do fixed income. It doesn't have to be GICs. You can even look at some, I consider these cash ETFs kind of like fixed income as well. Um, you know, so that's kind of just one of those things that you can sort of put out there. And as you start moving towards, especially retirement, you probably should have at least a little bit of an allocation within fixed income. All right. Change Despair says, I'm so sick of Canadian banks. I just sold my positions. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, and keep in mind, there are American banks, for example, that you could get in. Now, if you're going to look at American banks, though, stick to the big national banks that are there. Don't ever buy any of the regional ones, just because those are the ones that, when we had the banking crisis last year, those are the ones that struggled, and some of them, well, as you guys know, some of them did collapse. Ian says 3 year is weird now because of the pandemic. A little bit. But we're now past that pandemic bump. So the pandemic bump back in March of 2022 is no longer there, because now the 3 year begins at basically the beginning of 2021. So we've gotten rid of a big chunk. And that's actually, if you think about it, by that time we were in a little bit of a bull market. So in a sense, a lot of these stocks are going to have not bad looking 3 years, a lot of them, just because of that bull market. And now imagine a year from now, most of those 3 years are going to be down in the beginning, because you'll have, because we'll have moved it 3 years ago, then will have been the beginning of the bear market. So that's going to be very interesting. Paul says, Mag's ETF for the Magnificent Seven was the shares and T-bills and stuff called swaps, not available at Wealthsimple. Yes, the good old Magnificent Seven. I know that Joseph Hogue has been talking a lot about them. He's a Canadian YouTuber. He calls everybody the Bow Tie Nation because he wears a bow tie. But he's actually become a member of Blossom. He's one of our newer American ambassadors, which is kind of cool. Skiz says, sometimes the dog takes one of those. He takes one of those. Yeah, sometimes the dog does. Absolutely. Vic says, some of my stocks are dogs. Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, you know what? It happens. But here's the thing too. In a way, you kind of don't want to, if you mess around too much with stocks, playing around, trying to rebalance a lot, like if you spend a lot of time moving stocks, you end up burning like even little bits of money here and there. So you always want to be careful. I think Brandon Beavis had shared something on Blossom the other day where he said the stock market is like a bar of soap. The more you handle it, the less you have. That can be true. That can be true, especially if you're doing things, for example, like panic selling. That's a great way to lose money right away. Paul says, my wife's spousal RRSP averaged 4.59% a year over 19 years. Some years, negative 50%, and then, and the 60% and then 50. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's all about averages, right? Like most people in the bear market, portfolios were probably not hitting the best numbers, but I think 2020, the second half of this year and then 2025, I think are going to be stellar. Most everybody will be in here next year at this time going on about how green everything is. And I totally believe that. Vic wishes he had a spouse. Yeah, I wish I had a spouse too. And just so you could have a spousal RRSP. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm sure a spouse is useful for more things than just a spousal RRSP. Ian says, I'm 20% exposed to BNS. I chase dividends. You know what? And some people do. And it depends on where you are in your investing journey. It also depends on what your investing goals are. Some people want that income, especially when you start moving towards retirement. And I think that's why the retirement topic for next week's channel membership live stream is all about income ETFs. So, I got to go digging and seeing what new ones we have. But that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that a big time. Chad says BNS, my worst performance. But keep in mind though, when you're looking at BNS as your worst performance, it's because banking is down. And a lot of these banks have come come down big time. So BNS is going to look pretty bad because of that. But once it rebounds, you've got your dividend coming, and it'll look a bit better. You know, I have like I said, I actually have BNS in the 0 to 100, and I'm okay with it. I'm actually okay with it. Skiz says, Vic says, let's get married for tax purposes. It's 2024 now. You know what? If Skiz can't win a membership, he can at least win Vic. There we go. Vic says Russian bride. Yeah, you can order well, I think well, there's Russia, but I think it's easy to I don't know. There's probably a lot of people who want to move to Canada and would be willing to marry you just for the green card or the visa. I don't know if we have a green card here. I think it's just a visa. Chad says, haha. Vic wants Milena. Okay. Or Melon. Yeah, okay. We'll leave that alone. I think you're talking about Trump's wife, I think, but I'm not sure. Paul says, buy one of NA or Royal Bank and one of EQB or GSY to limit your banks. BN and BAM and Visa, MasterCard are financials too, just different. Yeah, absolutely. And Vic says, the Russian brides don't mind a heavier dude. Probably not. Probably not. And plus, you're getting your life back in order there this year. Vic, you said you were working out, so maybe you won't be a heavier dude for the whole year. Ian says, I forgot March 2020 was more than 3 years ago. Oh, I know it, but it is. It's like, wow. I mean, I remember it was funny. I remember I was kind of watching what was happening in the news because you guys knows I like the news. And I was telling everybody back in February that we were probably going to have a pandemic called soon. Nobody listened to me. And then March came along and everybody was like, oh yeah, you were right. So I was like, yeah, I said, like, you could see it coming. You could really, I mean, even in January, you could see the hints that, yeah, this is probably going to get out of control. And of course it did. Change the Spare says, I sold my BNS to buy CSU. I lost a little on the sale, but already made it back with CSU. Yeah, and CSU is like, yeah, they're kind of like one of them elite stocks. It's kind of like Canada's version of Berkshire, although totally different, but I mean, price-wise. Chad says, down 15 to 20% BNS. I can't eat that much to sell BNS. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. When you are looking, unless, of course, you want a tax loss harvest, that's a pretty steep thing to look at. Now, I'm just going to take a quick gander again here at our friend. Where are we? Here we are. Yeah, Bitcoin still heading down. It's at 45,615. So it's not that it's still heading down, but it's still in the red right now. It's on a red candle. But I'll check this out through the night. I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see where we end up in the morning. Paul says wife's 3-year rate was 14.37% a year. Somehow we missed the bad 2022. Not bad. Well, and keep in mind, I mean, well, look at the stocks I've been showing. There's been a lot of stocks that did really well in 2022, 2023. It's not like everybody did bad. There were stocks that absolutely owned the whole pandemic. So Skiz says, the analogies are flying today. Why not? Nothing wrong with flying analogies. Ian says, I really like being single. If I had a wife, she probably would not like my Colombian girlfriend. Well, maybe not. But then again, you know what? There's a lot of different types of people out there. Maybe she might be on the swinging side. And we're not talking swing trading either. Change to Spare says, I hear you, Chad. Took me 2 years of waiting before I felt okay cutting my losses. Yeah. You can carry capital loss gains forward. Yes. Well, you can't carry gains forward. Gains you have to pay the taxes on right away. But your losses you can carry forward, and then the next time you have those gains, you can use them against that. Skiz says, what a prize. Paul says, we just cashed in a small spousal RRSP this month to pay off a 9.98% car loan. Damn Toyota Financial Services Canada. If they have a better rate, they could have made some money on this loan. Yeah, absolutely. And Vic keeps talking about VersaBank. So I probably have to look more at VersaBank because I know Vic has been crazy about them. Chad says BNS been down 10 to 15 years. They never recover. Plus, bought into BNS at $90 a share based on information from my advisor at BNS. Said at $91, BNS is doing a stock split. Wow, more lies. Took out 10K after that. Yeah, well, yeah. I know. Poor Chad and BNS. And it's funny thing, like if you are talking to a financial advisor and they start recommending, especially if they're a bank one, and they start recommending their bank, um, be very skeptical because you have to sort of keep in mind bias is a real thing. It exists. So just one of those things. Vic says CSU reports next month. Let's see what happens. From the looks of things, I have a feeling it'll be a good earnings report for them. Paul says CSU in 5 to 10 years paying a little too much won't matter. Yeah, absolutely. Compared to where they're at, where they're gonna be. Vic says they call it polyamory. Now, not swing. Okay, fine. They call it polyamory. Or yeah, if I said that right. Wow. Paul says, Chad, what if a different stock could do better than waiting for BNS to recover? And Vic says, I'm red with light speed. Yeah, ooh, yeah. Sometimes that happens. And Chad says, yeah, I just read 11 spot ETFs just got approval to trade. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we were mentioning. So I was expecting a whole bunch. And I assume the ARC one is in that list. So there we go. That is now, the hype on that is gone. Now people can start hyping over an Ethereum spot ETF and maybe even an XRP. I know people have actually started talking about that one as well. Ian says, I should head out. I will watch the rest of this later. Well, we're coming up to the end, Ian, so don't worry. There won't be too much more that you have to watch. So, of course, we are coming to the end. We're past the hour mark. If you guys got any burning questions you want answered before we leave, drop them in right now. I'll have a sip of coffee here as I notice Bitcoin edged up a tiny bit. Very good. Let's see. Vic says BOYD Auto Body, a little Winnipeg stock that just grows. Yeah, I know somebody had requested that I do a deep dive on BOYD, and it almost happened. I went into the vote, but nobody would vote for it. Unfortunately, that's a downside to having letting everybody do all the voting all the time. But I'm going to tinker around with that a little bit this year. We'll still do voting, but maybe what I'll do is I don't know. I haven't really put a lot of thought into how I'm going to change that, but I do like people having the option of choosing the one that they want. Chad says news came from Decrypt. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just pull it up here. Here we go. From News BTC, breaking, the SEC approves all 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. Let's see here. Is there anything? Doesn't actually name them, does it? No, it doesn't tell me who they all are, but there we go. It's pretty much the same story that I read you guys earlier, but hey, it's happened. It's done. So that's not too bad. Let's see. That $1 USD CSU dividend is juicy. Nice. Yeah. Although you got to pay a lot to get it, right? Vic says, screw democracy. Just give me one BOYD. There we go. All right. So these are fantastic. We're going to be back here next week. We're going to do this all over again. We got this week coming up on the weekend as well for live streams. So those are the 2 live streams. Video wise, 2 more list videos coming out. Actually, I'm probably for Monday, I'm not going to do a list in the way that you think. I want to actually show all of the different ways that you can invest in Bitcoin. So probably going to do a video on that for Monday. And next week as well for the second video, we're definitely getting back to a deep dive because, heck, it feels like I haven't done a deep dive in a while. So we'll have to see how that's going to look out. Skiz just threw this in. Isn't there a situation for arbitrage with markets and these BTC ETFs closing at 4 p.m. and Bitcoiners can trade on their exchanges 24 hours? Yeah, but here's the reality is though. Yeah, it's just one of these things. I kind of knew they would wait till the market closed just because they just want to give people a chance to sort of sit in and figure out what's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Vic is saying goodbye. Friggin pops in at the last second to say Satoshi is alive, wanting wanting for the Bitcoin dump. There we go. Yes, ARRK is in that list. ETH up to the moon, 8% up. Let me take a look at the... Here, we'll do this one last time here before we go. This is the big thing. So yeah, look, Ethereum up 7.45%, XRP up 4.34%. Look at the green in the altcoins. Now, Bitcoin is only down a tiny bit, but look at the green. Solana's up. Let's just dig in here a bit. Filecore, Atrium, Monero. Whoa, it's very, very sensitive. There we go. I have to not touch anything. Thorchain up, Theta. Remember, Friggin used to always be all about Theta at one point back in the day. Litecoin is up. Yeah, it's just a green day over there. Nice green finish on Bitcoin, and well, Bitcoin's at negative, but Bitcoin will be in the green, I think, before long. So not too bad. Friggin says, who else would have sent 1 million in Bitcoin to his wallet last week? Yeah, basically about $1.2 million sent to the Genesis wallet. So yeah, that is kind of interesting. I think it's going to be a very look at that. Bitcoin is pulled up a little bit now. It's only at negative 0.87. So it's slowly getting its way back up. But anyway, everybody, we are at the end of the stream. Thank you all for being here. You guys rock. Thank, of course, those of you watching this on the replay. We'll be back here to do this again very, very soon. Until then, everybody, take care. Enjoy your US Spot Bitcoin ETF watch party, I guess, or whatever it is that we're all doing here. Until then, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.